Keeping up with the annual tradition, today I shall be doing my Christmas haul video for 2023. Before we begin, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and was able to embrace the holidays. If so, let me know how you spent the holidays in the comments. It's always great to hear from everybody. And going over the haul for this year, we have a selection of Blu-ray and DVD pickups. We have a few vinyl records, which is something new for the channel. And we have a couple of books which I picked up recently, which I thought I would include as well. Starting off with the Blu-rays, we have Season 1 of Star Wars The Mandalorian. This is the UK Steelbook variant, which includes both 4K discs and standard Blu-rays. And I was very surprised when Disney announced physical releases for a handful of their Disney Plus streaming exclusive shows. Clearly, the exclusivity wasn't doing enough for them, and so here we are with one of the first Steelbook releases. And it's honestly great to revisit this show. Aside from watching a few clips of it on YouTube here and there, I don't think I've ever gone back and watched the series properly in its entirety, and it really does hold up, especially the prison episode with Bill Burr. That is easily one of my favorites. And looking into the future, hopefully we will see more physical media releases if the sales do well for these first few. I've already filmed an unboxing video and review of this particular set, so I'll aim to have that up on the channel in January. Likewise, I have Season 2 on pre-order, so you can expect a video of that. Also, as for future releases, nothing is set in stone, but apparently Book of Boba and Andor are rumored to be coming soon. I'm not really bothered about the Boba show, but Andor, that is definitely a day one pre-order for me. I loved that series in particular. Moving on, we have a sequel I enjoyed a lot more than I expected, that being Avatar 2: The Way of Water, which I haven't rewatched the film on Blu-ray, but honestly, this film was extremely memorable. Some elements were very predictable, such as Stephen Lang returning as the main villain, just this time in the Na'vi alien body, but I loved how the film continued to expand the world of Pandora beyond what we've already seen, which was already pretty expansive to begin with. And I'm also really excited to check out the bonus features that are included on this set, looking at the behind the scenes for the movie. And if you enjoyed the first film, I definitely recommend checking out the sequel. Next up, we have a double feature set of two Japanese animated films by Yoshiaki Kawahiri, that being Wicked City and Demon City. And sadly, I haven't watched either of these films, but I've heard very interesting things about both. An unusual blend of the action thriller genre with a bizarre romance between man and demon. For sure, an odd combination, but I like what I've seen in terms of the art style, and if the films are worth discussing in more detail, I will likely feature them in a future update video in the new year. From the Masters of Cinema collection, we have a film from the late 60s, that being Seconds, starring Rock Hudson, and I watched this film a long time ago and truthfully recall very little about it. I recall enjoying the theme surrounding sort of identity crisis, and the plot was quite disturbing, and it's definitely a film I'm looking forward to rewatching, and once I have, I will definitely feature this in a future update video as well. Next up, we have a joke gift that my brother got for me. This is Jurassic World Dominion, the third film in the Jurassic World trilogy, and we watched this in the cinema when it first came out. And after that experience, I had no intention of picking this up for the Blu-ray collection. Did we really need an extended cut of this movie? Wasn't this movie long enough? I honestly recall this one being one of the funniest movie experiences I've ever sat through, and I will probably struggle to take this seriously on rewatch. We were laughing mostly at the dialogue if memory serves, but the thing that really sent us over the edge was the plot involving the giant locusts. That was on the same level as CGI shark movies, just terrible for the sake of it. And I genuinely did not think this would need an extended cut. Apparently all the changes are in the first half of the movie, which apparently improves character motivation, but it's still a poor sequel. A series highly recommended in my video comments, we have seasons 1 and 2 of BoJack Horseman, which I've seen clips of the series before, and I wasn't sold on the character designs if I'm being honest. The series features humans coexisting with anthropomorphic animals, where we follow a washed-up sitcom star, BoJack Horseman himself, and I've heard the first half of season 1 is quite difficult to sit through, but the rest of the series is meant to be incredible, and I'm very excited to see what all the fuss is about. I know a lot of people really enjoyed the ending for this show, which it ran for 6 seasons, but so far, only seasons 1 and 2 have made it to Blu-ray, so hopefully the rest will be made available in the future. But to be honest, I doubt it, but of course, time will tell. A couple of DVDs, first up being the complete series of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I really enjoy the blend of comedy and a police procedural show, and so I'm nearing the end of one of my favorites being Castle, and I was looking for something very similar to binge through, and a friend of mine recommended the series Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is also set in New York City, and beyond that, I know very little about the series, but it appears to be more sort of comedy-oriented, and I'll be sure to talk about the show in a future update video once I have given it a proper chance, so keep an eye out for that. I was going to feature this in my next update video, but it's a Christmas movie, so I thought it'd be more appropriate here. And that, of course, is A Christmas Story, which is an 80s holiday film, and one I'd only ever seen clips of online, particularly the scene where the main character Ralphie stands up to a bully and beats him up in the snow. That was easily one of the best scenes, but I really enjoyed the film overall for its depiction of childhood innocence. Ralphie wants a BB gun for Christmas, and his parents and every adult in his life keeps saying the same thing: you'll shoot your eye out. Therefore, he does everything in his power to try and get the toy for Christmas. Will he succeed? I won't spoil it, but I really like this film, highly recommended for holiday viewing. Moving on, we have a selection of vinyl records to look at, which I've been collecting vinyl on and off over the past couple of years. Originally, I bought a record at a concert a couple of years ago just for the sake of getting it signed, which was fantastic, but I wanted to start collecting them properly, and so this year for Christmas, I actually got a record player, which I will show in a moment, but I also grabbed a few records. Starting off, we have a few heavy metal records from the Metalocalypse band Dethklok. And in my last Christmas haul video from 2022, I ended up getting the complete series of Metalocalypse on DVD. I've watched through the whole thing, I'm a huge fan of the show and the music in particular, and so I wanted to collect all of their records, and I'm only missing the Doomstar Requiem soundtrack, which is ridiculously rare. It was never repressed, unfortunately. Otherwise, I ended up grabbing the full set of all the Death albums, including Death Album 4, which I grabbed a few months ago, which was their most recent release. And I may do an unboxing video looking at all of these. If you want to see, I guess, more music-related content, then let me know in the comments. I recently uploaded a video going through a huge box of CDs that I found, and a lot of people seem to enjoy that, so I'll definitely keep it in mind regardless. This is the extended variation of the first Death album, so there is the track list with 2 vinyl records included. Here is the second one, Death Album 2, and there is the track list for this one. And then Death Album 3, which is another one that has 2 records included. And then we also have the 4th Death album, which I've already unboxed, and I absolutely love this. Some really entertaining tracks on this one, particularly Mermaid Are Free. I also grabbed the motion picture soundtrack for The World's End, part of Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy. This movie is still my personal favourite of the 3 films, and the soundtrack and the music composed by Stephen Price being one of the main reasons why I enjoyed it so much. And this was released to commemorate the movie's 10th anniversary, and I'm really looking forward to giving this a proper listen. I love the artwork there with Gary King, the main character, played by Simon Pegg, surrounded by all the robot blanks. Some excellent stuff. I may also look to grab the other 2 records from the trilogy for Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, but otherwise I'm content with having this one in the collection, and this includes 2 records. Here's a look at the record player itself. Overall, really pleased with the quality of this. This was purchased as a complete set with the record player and a set of speakers. The player itself is by a brand called Audio-Technica, the model being the LT-LP60X, and is something that really has all the features that I wanted. The main thing being an automatic arm, where it will, once the record is finished, actually put the arm back into place, so I thought that was definitely a nifty touch. It plays both 12-inch and 7-inch records, and the sound quality is superb. The speakers are by a brand called Edifier, and the bass on those in particular is phenomenal. Of course, with this being a Christmas gift, there was only one album I had in mind to christen the new player, that being Mr. Hankey's Christmas Classics from South Park. I got this super cheap over Amazon, and it was a lot of fun to blast this on Christmas Day. If you're familiar with the tracks included on here, yeah, that's going to be a questionable one for the neighbours, but overall, really pleased with this. This is definitely something I'll be getting a lot of use out of, and keep an eye on the channel. I'll definitely do some vinyl unboxings here and there. Finally, rounding off this video, we have a couple of books to look through. Starting off, we have all 4 of the Primeval novels, which I grabbed cheap over eBay recently, so I thought I'd include them. and I'll be honest, I genuinely had no idea these even existed, furthering the adventures set between Series 1 and Series 2 of the show, which if you're not familiar with the series, it began back in 2007 and was actually cancelled twice, once in 2009, then renewed, then cancelled yet again in 2011, ending on a cliffhanger, which was really unfortunate. But this series was something I grew up with and I was always really fascinated by. I loved the characters, and the creature designs in particular was one of the main draws, where rips in time called anomalies start to occur in the modern world, where creatures from the past and future pour through and actually threaten the modern world. Overall, a very unique premise, and I loved what these stories evolved into, and apparently they transfer and lend themselves really well to written materials, so I'm very intrigued to see what these will be like. So we have Shadow of the Jaguar, The Lost Island, Extinction Events, and Fire and Water. Sticking with the dinosaur theme, I also picked up the two Jurassic Park books by Michael Crichton, which I've always wanted to read these. They've been sat in my Amazon basket for years, and so I finally decided to pull the trigger. And I've still got a load of books to get through anyway, but I'll definitely look to prioritize these. The first book is apparently very dark in comparison to what we got for the movie counterparts. And then the sequel that was essentially forced into existence by Spielberg wanting to make another Jurassic. I'm intrigued to see how this will differ in comparison to the movie adaptation of The Lost World. That about does it for my Christmas haul for 2023 and my final video for the year. I hope you did enjoy. As always, I must say a huge thank you to those that have continued watching my videos and to those who support the channel. I don't really pay any attention to stats or figures, but it's incredible to see that we've passed 8,000 subscribers. I cannot thank each and every one of you enough, and there's plenty more video content planned for 2024, and I look forward to seeing where this journey goes in the new year. And so with that said, Happy New Year to all my fellow viewers and subscribers. Please do leave me a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course for more content be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel at DVD Review Studios.
Are you threatening me?